Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 384. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is
March 13th.
March 13th. Tomorrow's Pie Day.
It is. You should make me a pie.
Your mother will be here this week. She can make you a pie.
She could. Hey, so my mom is coming for my birthday, and Wheezy won't come pearl sit because he's got better things to do.
He's a busy man.
He is. So I told him he can't have any of my birthday cake unless he comes to pearl sit.
I'm not certain that's going to persuade him.
I'm okay with that, though, because that's more birthday cake for us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we didn't record last week.
We didn't. I had a death in the family. My uncle passed away. So I ended up taking a trip to Buffalo last week. So we did not get a chance to record, and I apologize for that, but family comes first in this house.
I kind of think it was for the best, because neither of us really had anything to show.
I had my giant blanket, but not much else. So, anyway.
So speaking of your giant blanket,
my giant blanket is still in progress. Hold on, let me get past the stitch marker, because otherwise I'll lose a stitch marker. And it is still giant. I would say around 40 inches in. I'm in the middle of a row because Leslie is kind like that. So,
hold on.
You better hold those together. So this is what it looks like. This is where I started. And it's gone all the way there. There is a marker, that white marker, that's the 30-inch mark. So
that's the halfway mark?
That's the halfway mark.
Wow.
So it's getting there. From here until here is all the original. So, wrong way. So from here until here, is all the original patchwork kit, the first one, and then I'm supplementing. So that's around 1,300 yards, and I'm supplementing with other patchwork kits that I've spun, but not in the last 3 months. So that was part of my owl. This is Lily's scrap blanket. It is a pattern on Ravelry. I've modified it in that I cast on less repeats, so this is 9 repeats wide. It's around 30 inches wide, which is what I wanted because it fits around me. I don't need to share my blanket with anyone else. It tucks around me nicely.
She's unwilling to share her blanket with anyone else.
Always true. So it's going pretty well. So that is the first thing on my needles. The second thing on my needles...
And that has to be finished by the end of the month.
It does.
Okay.
So I would say that I probably have like 600 more yards worth of work on it.
So how many inches are you at right now, roughly?
40.
40 inches.
And I need to get it to 60.
Okay.
So, and I can, if I do 20 repeats a night, that's 2 inches. So I have like 10 more days worth of work.
And
2 inches, 20 rows takes me around 3 hours.
And you'll really have to stick to it because you'll miss 3 days with Madison.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm taking it with me to Madison. I am!
That's insane.
If it fits in my luggage, it's going. I'm totally carrying it on, too. Like, this is not going in checked luggage. So that is the first thing on my needles. The second thing, because I was flying to Buffalo, is I started a sock.
Wow.
Which is not in any of our color, it's not in any of our dyers for this month, but I wanted a sport weight sock, because I wanted something to go pretty fast. So this is Nomadic Knits in the Honeydukes colorway, and this is on her sport weight. I'm not certain, like, it's weird to me that there's a repeat of pink, green, and then everything else is, like, individual. Does that make sense?
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Doubles.
I don't know if I understand, if I would say it makes sense. Yeah, it's different.
And I'm doing the smooth operator socks.
I think that's just part of the repeat. Like, each repeat is...
No, I understand that each repeat goes from the pink to the blue.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I did this on double points from the top down. And then I lost a double point on the airplane. I found it. My feet just like whoosh. Like the woman beside me had no idea what was happening. But I also have this on my little gel bee fox. He's holding things together. She sells these little like point protector things. They're not flock locks. I can't remember what she calls them.
I think they are flock locks.
Are they the flock locks?
Yeah.
She's clever, that Jelby, but I cannot remember. And he's got a little felted fox. You see?
Yeah, she does lots of cute little felted stuff.
Super cute. So I have a couple of these. But they keep your... Because every time I don't use this and I pull it out, I lose a double point. Like, all the needles fall off. So, I needed something. So yeah, that's the first of this. And that is living in my little skein in the big wool. Annabeth's treehouse. Annabelle. Treehouse bag. This is too big the blanket's too big to fit in a bag. It just...
It has its own, like, purse.
Yeah. It has its own, like...
Tote bag
that it chills in, which makes it super convenient to carry on places. So those are the two things that I have work in progress wise. That's it. That's all I'm working on. Those two things.
Yeah, and the sock is new from last week, so that would have been her work in progress and finished objects section, I think.
No, I still had that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you'd finished it at that point. Okay. So I've got 2 works in progress because I've knitted most of a row on this while Laura was talking.
Yay!
This is my Find Your Fade. Find Your Fade? Okay.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Shawl, and it looks exactly like it did the last time that you saw it. So...
But with a row added.
With most of a row added.
There you go.
I've been working on other stuff this week, so...
slowly growing.
Yeah. I'm still in the Douche Zeppelin colorway. And...
That's by Sadie.
Yeah, Knitter's Nightmare.
Will you go through all the colorways? Can you remember them all? I feel like this is a game.
I feel like I might. Maybe.
That's pretty.
It starts with Fiber Nymphs.
Yeah, the Friends one, right?
Yeah, Sunny Skies, something Friends. Warm Skies, something Friends. I can't remember. And then it goes into Ice Skating Party by
Amy Florence.
Stranded Dye Works. And then Thunder Snow by Tempting You. And then this is Douche Zeppelin. After
Look
that,
at you. I'm super proud of you.
You're Friends with That Person I Hate. A couple others that I can't remember right now.
Oh. And that's living in an Amy Beth bag?
Yeah, it's living in one of my SSK.
Aww.
Oh, no, it's not an SSK.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't have the little...
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, okay. A 2016 SSK bag. And then the other thing that I've...
I was just thinking Amy Beth should just get fabric with our faces on it.
God, that would be horrible.
That would be so terrible.
Who would want that?
No one. It would be amazingly terrible. Just like, you know how they, like, you don't know this, but at basketball games, like college basketball games, they just get the giant faces made of people.
I've seen,
on
like
the sticks.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could get somebody to draw us in like a graphic cartoon, maybe.
No.
And
no.
then do it, but
no, I think we'd need like the faces on the sticks version.
The less serious the better.
Oh man, now I want your face on a stick to carry with me to Madison, like a giant one. This have to fold some way.
You could like rig it up so that I'm constantly like just looking over your shoulder. That wouldn't be creepy.
No, not at all.
So I talked about these a little bit last time we recorded.
Yeah.
The parallel module socks. And these are an Entrelac sock. And I was really curious about how Entrelac worked in the round. It does not.
Oh no! Are you just going back and forth and kind of like joining?
Yeah, well, you go back and forth, but the way that Entrelac works, you're constantly picking up between each section, so there's no, like, gaps.
I feel like this is terrible.
If I couldn't, like, purl backwards or knit backwards or whatever it is, like purl but on the knit side.
Knit backwards.
Then it would be terrible. But that project...
Is this the first one?
This is the first one.
You did a high cuff on that, too.
I did. Because it looked smaller when it was scrunched up, and then I sort of, like,
Yeah.
blocked it out.
I hope that fits over your massive calves.
Shut your face. So I'm knitting these socks in mustache yarn.
Someone thinks I'm being really mean, and
Yeah.
I really was. Well, I was. Mean.
There's an old story that I will very briefly summarize here. Laura and I were at
Charlene
Harris reading locally at a library, and after
like 6 years ago.
Yeah. After the reading, we were waiting in line to get our book signed, and it was one of those lines that like snakes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we had passed this one lady several times, or passed by her rather, and at one point she finally asked me what I was knitting, because she thought it was a sleeve of a sweater, and I happened to be test knitting something for Cookier, and it was a knee sock. And I told her, I said, it's a cabled knee sock for a book that's coming out. And she said, oh man, you must have massive calves. And it was like the most tactful thing I'd seen that day. I was like, well, yeah, I do. No filter. When they say all Southern people are sweet, it's a lie.
I think people have known us long enough that they know that's
probably true. Although you're not technically a Southern person.
Nope. Although, I was thinking on my way to Buffalo, because I did, that's where I was born, was Buffalo, New York, and then we moved to Albany, back to Buffalo, to Philly, to Pittsburgh, to here. No, North Carolina was in the middle. That I've lived in the South now longer than I lived in the North, I think. Longer than I've lived in Mississippi longer than I've lived any place else. So not necessarily South, longer than North, but...
Because you guys moved...
Yeah, so 13 years here, and Pittsburgh was 5th grade through 22, so 10, 12 years there. So I'm right about longer in Mississippi than anywhere else.
Well, I've lived here, aside from my 4 years in New Jersey, for over 30 years, so...
There you go.
I definitely qualify as a Southern person.
You're a true Southerner. I'm just
which is not always a positive thing, but anyhow, back to the knitting. So this is what the knitting looks like in a self-striping. I think that I would get more blocks of color if this particular sock had longer repeats, but because there's 20-something colors in this repeat, the colors are short.
Yeah, you can tell on the
on the cuff
how short the repeats are.
Yeah, so it calls for you to do a flat peel, which I am going to do, I think. And then you do the entrelac again on the top part of the foot.
Don't do it, it's a trap.
But I'm not going to, primarily because A, it'll go faster if I don't, and B, I wear clogs a lot, and patterned socks inside of clogs don't work great for me.
Also, I'd be concerned about the fit. You were saying that it's scrunched up a lot.
Yeah.
You would constantly have to be trying it on to make sure that you're getting the right fit.
Yeah. So, later I'll try this on over my giant feet and calves. And
massive calves. It looks like it's stretchy though.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Yeah, it is actually pretty stretchy, surprisingly, for a stitch pattern like that. But I like entrelac overall. I was hoping that I was going to learn an in the round technique for it, but you go back and forth. But because of how entrelac works, and you're picking up stitches in between sections, there's no gap. So, yeah. So that's the other thing I'm working on. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a cool something different to do with self-striping. So that's it for works in progress.
Cool. Do you have any finished objects?
Sort of. So it's not a knitting finished object. Okay, this has got to come off now.
Her air conditioning was going when I got here, and it's 55 degrees outside, and I was not a fan.
Well, the downstairs is on a computer that's hooked up to Michael's phone, and thus the world, but the upstairs is still on an older model.
Which I'm shocked Michael hasn't changed.
Yeah, I am too, honestly. So I finished my Custom House Cruel.
Oh, look at that! Kit. That's what you were being obsessive about.
This is what I spent most of my time working on, because even though it's a small thing, it took so much freaking time, you would not believe it!
That's gorgeous, though. Are you going to frame it?
I'm going to make it into a pillow, I think, and give it to my mother-in-law.
That is perfect.
because it's sort of, it's not as modern, which does not surprise me, but my mother-in-law, floral is one of the motifs she really likes, and I think that this will fit with her.
Are you going to save it for like a birthday, Christmas?
Yeah, I think it'll be a Christmas thing. And
Perfect.
I think I'll probably do like a ribbon edging and then put a zipper on the ribbon part and put a pillow form, you know, and do a backing.
Oh, you'll have to back it some.
Yeah, that's
like
what my back looks
backing,
like.
maybe.
But yeah, I had a good time.
I like it.
Doing it. I did not have to look on the internet for anything.
Oh, that little 1920s book worked out for you.
60 something, yeah. Although there are some stitches where you can definitely tell which one was my first flower with that stitch and which one was my last flower with
really
that stitch.
good though.
But I'm pretty happy with it. I think it came out pretty well.
I think it came out awesome.
So, yeah, I think I've got one more crewel kit, and then I think I'm done with crewel. Because it's essentially embroidery, but with like a thicker wool.
Yeah.
It's a more rustic version, I think, of embroidery. And the wool, I don't know if all crewel, C-R-E-W-E-L, even though it sounds like cruel, like mean.
It's a homophone.
Yes. The wool is a 2-ply, like a woolen spun, and it's kind of delicate, and so it was constantly coming apart working with it. So I don't know if all of crewel wool is like that, but I think I've got one or two other kits, and I think I'll be done with it. Although I am still into embroidery, I'm still interested in.
Did you work it all on your 70s kitchen thing?
I did not, no. I did start a rug hooking kit.
Of course you did.
And have decided I'm not a fan.
Aww.
I'm going to finish the kit that I got, because it's hard to like spend an hour on something and decide that you hate it. So I think I'm going to finish it and then see how I feel about it. It's like, you know, the awkward where you're just learning a process and you feel like you're never going to get it. Right? Yeah. So.
I understand completely.
Anyway.
I think you need to be kind to yourself when you learn new things.
That's true. Not me specifically, but the general you.
Yes. Well, you specifically, but also the general you.
So that's all of my works in progress and favorite and finished things.
Look at you.
So you have...
I have a finished hat.
A finished thing.
It's bright pink, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to wear it this weekend, actually. Because I don't have enough hats. I only have like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Also, my hair's still wet from this morning. Sorry, y'all. I'm obsessed with these hairbands. Have you tried them yet?
I hate those.
Oh, I love them. The ones that are like ribbons.
Yeah, they're like a elastic, a wide elastic.
I know you all needed to know that, but
like
I'm
my
obsessed
hair,
with them.
I don't know. Maybe my hair is like, I don't know. They don't keep their
stretchiness.
Yeah.
So this is the photographer hat, and I knit out of hedgehog yarn. Look at how poofy it is. I can make it stand straight like that. It's amazing. It is their singles worsted in the jelly colorway, and I love how bright and happy it is. It makes me happy. And it's nice and warm, too.
I'm totes jelly of your jelly.
Thanks. It goes so well with my shirt today, too. So it is basically a wide ribbed beanie. That's a little, you know, slouchy in the back.
It's kind of like a worsted weight sock head.
I would say that that's pretty true.
Yeah. And
it was a free pattern, so it worked out really, really well. I didn't make any modifications. Yeah, I'm just overall happy with it. It just makes me happy. It was a good use of a day of work, because I knit it all while testing kids at work. So
because your job when you're testing is essentially staring at them.
Well, yeah.
And making sure they're not trying to cheat or...
Yeah, and I can knit ribbing at the same time. Yeah. So, because it was regional testing, it wasn't national testing. So, yeah. It looks so weird when it's not on.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it just looks ridiculous.
It kind of looks like a woolly condom.
Thanks for that image.
With your reservoir tip.
So it's super bright. It's totally glaring out on the... But I love this colorway. I think I'm going to get more of it.
It's
It
very
just
bright.
makes me happy. Would be a good accent for, like, we're reviewing the Interpretations 5 book today for one of the shawls in there. Especially that one Hohi that's 3 colors.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice and bright for that. Anyway, so that's what I finished. Just that simple photographer's hat out of Hedgehog Merino singles in the jelly colorway. I think I knit it on size 6s. I did knit it on size 6. And I think I went up to 6s for the remaining, 8 for the rest. So, yeah. Do you have any spinning? Am I the sole spinner today?
Yep.
Okay. I do have the 2 things that I spun. One of which was a bat that I got that I was very disappointed in. I pulled it out to spin it, and it was pretty much straight lanolin. Like, it felt like it hadn't been washed at all.
So, for those who don't handle fleece or wool straight from the sheep regularly, when they shear the sheep, like when they shave the sheep, the wool has lanolin in it, which is it's like it can be
It's
used...
a grease that moves the dirt out to the tip of the fleece,
it
usually.
helps keep the sheep clean. And
they use it in hand creams a lot.
Usually when wool is processed, the lanolin is removed. Most of the lanolin is removed because that helps when you're combing or carding or
it
processing
keeps you from
the
getting
wool.
dirty. And if you don't remove it, it's called in the grease.
Yeah.
And this said it was cleaned, but it felt like the majority of the lanolin was still in it. And it's a CVM, which is a very high lanolin. It's a fine fleece, and fine fleeces typically have high lanolin content. So when I would touch it, it feels sticky. And I've washed it since, but it still feels a little bit sticky. So it was spinning very lumpy, bumpy, because lanolin, that much grease in there kind of kept me from getting a consistent spin. Plus it had all this silken oil in it.
Yeah, and lanolin interferes with the drafting of the wool.
Because it sticks it together.
Right.
So I decided to thread ply it with a red thread. And so it'll be like a fun hat or something. Still smells very sheepy. Leslie hates it.
I would
We'll go
honestly,
with
we were at knit night when she was spinning it, and I felt the bat, and I would have thrown it away. I wouldn't have even bothered spinning it.
It was so greasy that it could stick up. Like, you know when you grease your hair and you can stick it straight up? It was doing that in bat form. And it's still pretty... I mean, it's got a good amount of twist to it, too. But just in comparison, so this is this, and then this is some singles that I just spun.
That do not stand up by themselves.
There's definitely a drape difference. This is around 100 yards of a worsted to bulky.
Yeah.
And this is 60 yards of a worsted single. So this has not been plied. It is a single yarn. I used leftovers from Jillian Marino's singles class that she gave us to do this technique with, and I wanted to play with this technique again. It is a marled single. So no drafting, lots of drafting, no plying added.
So, and explain marling your singles.
So the basic technique is you strip your fiber down to about the thickness of your pinky finger, and you hold 2 to 3 together, and then draft them together. And as they draft together, you get this marling.
Yeah.
So there's no usually you would get marling in the plying. There's no there's no plying, so it's just kind of thick and thin singles because I am not good at spinning thick at all. That's Leslie's.
I feel like that's not true. I think it just takes you a little while to get in your groove.
Yeah, and the thing with this is if you have 2 very different fibers, so I was holding like a Romney together with a BFL at one point, it makes it like 2 different staple lengths. Yeah. It makes it a little bit more interesting too. But yeah, I'm going to knit some swatches out of this because I think it's a really cool technique. So these are 60 yards of singles. And that was spun on the Ladybug. This was spun on the Lendrum. And unfortunately, I had started it with my woolly winder, so I need to clean my woolly winder because the grease gets everywhere.
Yeah.
So I need to clean that equipment before I use it. I should clean it now, not wait until I use it again. But
or your mom's coming this week.
That's what I was just thinking. So, anyway. But they're installing a toilet for me, so I feel like that gets all my
usage points.
Yes. My you're visiting, do stuff for me points. My honey-do list for my parents points.
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm getting a tall toilet, so you can't touch the ground anymore when you come to my house.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna need to bring a squatty potty.
Maybe I'll purchase one for you.
So then whenever people come to your bathroom, they're like, oh, how progressive Laura is. She has a squatty potty.
In her guest bath.
Also, if you don't know what a squatty potty is, you need to go look it up.
So that's it for me for spinning. I'm working on some other stuff, including, hopefully, I'm going to start tomorrow our Patreon prize for this past February month. So we'll draw for that next time we record.
Oh, yeah, because I totally did not download it.
Yeah, I know. Usually I remind Leslie, but I totally forgot. We do need to draw, though, when it becomes time for our self-striping mid-along, because...
Oh, yeah, because February's over.
Yeah, it totally is. And March has started. I need to start an FO thread for that.
Yeah, people who are better than us are actually knitting the things that we said we would knit. So thanks, y'all.
We'll get there.
Inspiration
I kind of
is
like
a tricky
how not, like, I'm enjoying how non-obligation I feel with my sock knitting right now.
It's nice to take a break.
And when it gets warm again and I don't feel like having a giant blanket on my lap, then I'll go back to knitting socks.
Okay, so we are going to do a review.
Yes, we have a really cool book to review, and that's Interpretations 5. Veera and Joji sent this to us to review. This is their 5th collection together, so this is year 5. It's the 5th anniversary collection as well. And the foreword actually talks a lot about how some things have changed, how they've changed as designers, and how some things have stayed the same. And one thing that stayed the same is every piece in this collection, there's one by Joji and one by Veera, based on the same word. Like the interpretations have been in the past, so it's their interpretation of a word.
Right, so we're just going to pop through on the bookmarks here. Beautiful photography, as always.
Gorgeous, and they took a lot of these in Argentina, I believe.
Yeah.
Or all of them in Argentina. Like all the rest of the interpretations, the main models, the only models are Joji and Veera, but they have a plethora of test knitters that have knit for them. Yeah. So if you want to go to the Ravelry, that's what Leslie and I were doing. We're popping back and forth between Ravelry and this because we'd like to see what different shapes look like in different sweaters. And the majority of the people did model their own sweaters. Yeah. Some of the ones in the larger sizes. Please model your sweaters. Yes. Don't put them on a clothesline. I want to see them on human bodies.
You are a person and you are worth us looking at you. Don't buy into society's crap.
So I like to see things on all body types, and Veera and Joji do have 2 very different body types, so it's nice to see the diversity there, plus with their testers as well.
So their body types aren't as different as I would love to see in the book, but I also love that they model their own stuff.
Yeah.
So I give them props for that.
Because I feel like that's very difficult
or
too.
Something in my. I think I have a moth in my yarn room. That's awesome. All right, so.
No, it's not a moth. It's a ladybug.
Oh, it's a ladybug.
Yay! It's not a moth. It's a ladybug.
Okay, so back to the book. They do have each item grouped by the word that they're inspired by.
And there's multiple pictures of each piece.
And they talk about each word and what it means to them and how it inspired them to design the item that they are showing. So
the first word is bliss.
And something new for this book is every single item is knit up in an exclusive colorway that was dyed for design for this book.
So all the yarn is indeed dyed. So with Bliss, we have 2 cardigans.
Yep.
The first is Something Stars, Quiet Stars by Joji. It does have this optional tie. I actually like a later picture that does not have the tie, or the tie is kind of not pulled together.
Featured.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. I think I would go without the tie on this. This is out. It's got some nice lace detail going down. I feel like it's out of a fingering weight.
And it's got a nice texture in the areas that are not... Here, let me blow it up just a little bit. It's got a nice texture in the... Wow.
That was just like craziness.
Epic fail. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice texture in the areas that aren't lace. Alright, so let's go back to a more sane view. Yeah, so this one is knit out of fingering weight. This is Fino by Julie Azalin.
It's a merino cashmere silk blend.
As usual, the
schematics are amazing, and the sizing on everything is pretty good. Most of it goes up to at least a 54, if not larger, and down to 28 to 30. So there is a great size range on everything.
There's another picture of the side and the sleeve cap.
The next sweater is Joy. This is one of my favorite pieces in the book, and it's by Veera. It's got a yoke, but the sleeve cap is really, really intriguing.
Yeah, it almost looks like a saddle shoulder.
But it's yoke when you, I think you keep thinking that's going to blow it up, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fail.
Leslie thinks, like, you know how you pinch on an iPad? Well, that's going to do it on here.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, so this one is Joy, and this
the button band's a little bit wavy, and I'm not certain how you could fix that. Maybe add more buttons, but
yeah, more buttons and smaller so they're closer together. Although in this picture her arm is up and you've got the bunching, but in a later picture it's down and there's no bunching.
Yeah, so it could just be
it could be the pose. This one goes up to a 52 inch and it is 4 skeins of a fingering weight yarn.
Yep.
We're going to keep going, and this is sort of a preview of the next word, which is ground.
Yep. Veera has a very cable detail sweater that has an interesting shaping on the side for sure.
So we'll start. This one is Hohi's, and it's called Separate Ways.
I like how there's different, like the stripes do go in separate ways on both the body, the side, and the sleeve. It adds definitely some visual interest. It's got a shape similar to her boxy shape.
Yeah, but the construction is definitely different. Like Laura mentioned, because boxy is knit in the round, and this one is knit flat for sure in pieces. It is knit with 3 different colors of fingering weight. And
4.
Is it 4?
Yeah,
you're right, because it's got a
4.
It's got a sort of a neutral.
You can see that neutral in between every stripe. There's like a dark blue.
So
lots of ends to weave in, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you do it as you go.
The sizing is great. It goes up to a 60-inch chest with 10 inches of positive E, so it's 70 inches around.
And you can tell that very easily on the schematic.
Yeah, they do a really good job with their schematics. And then there's Veera's sweater, which is indigo, and it's this all over cabled texture sweater with a turtleneck. So I feel like it would be great in a really cool climate.
And she lives in a cooler climate.
Yeah, she does. So this one is knit out of DK weight, and it goes up to a 60-inch chest. And the cable detail is really nice. I do like it even on the sleeves. The raglan join here, there's a cable detail, and you can see, gosh, I wish this would pinch and expand, but you can see here how the shaping is done in the garter stitch section. So it's a really well hidden, executed way to do the shaping, which you expect nothing less from these ladies.
Nope.
The next word is shelter. And so we've got a cardigan and a wrap.
He uses a wrap that uses around 1,200 yards of a worsted weight, and it's got some nice cable and lace detail in a nice neutral color.
And it's Tree Seeker, The cables are one page and the rest of the pattern is another page, so it's nice and succinct. And yeah, like Laura said, it is a worsted weight. It's about 1,300 yards of a worsted weight. And the overall size ends up being 75 by 22, so quite a large, a long shawl.
Yeah.
And then we've got rose quartz, which is Veera's.
I just feel like this cardigan is so classic. It's just a classic layering piece. It's got pockets. I can see it out of Volmiza DK, although it uses
DK. It
uses
House of Alamode.
House of Alamode, which is a gorgeous yarn. And their DK weight, which I actually have one skein of, should get an update, that I'm going to use for the faded cardigan. But yeah, just really, really pretty.
I'm with Laura. I think that this is one that
just so classic.
It would stand the test of time. It's something that'll never go out of style.
You could wear it 10 years from now with jeans, and it would just, the jeans style might change, but it's just classic.
The next color, or the next word, is movement, and Joji uses that in her shawl, going through different color movements, which I think is a neat interpretation. So Dynamic Trio is Joji's color work shawl, and it's in an interesting shape, this sort of elongated triangle, sort of squat elongated triangle. I don't know.
Yeah, Leslie and I went to see how to Ravelry to see how different people styled it, and it is 80 inches long, and at the widest point 40 inches wide. So it seems like something that you could really wrap up in.
Yeah, it's got one end is narrow and pointed, and so it would like tuck under. Well,
very well.
I hope someone brings something like this to SSK, because I'd like to see something like that in person. To see what it looks like on.
I told her I might knit it, so then she could just see it.
So, yeah, it's got some sections of striping and garter and, a nice varied texture. And then we've got, say the word.
Anemone.
Anemone.
Uh-huh.
And this is by Veera Valimaki, not Vera. And it is knit in a coral color.
And the sleeves are actually knit at the same time as the body, which I thought was really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's just sort of short rows worked into it. Well, all the pictures are kind of far away. Uh-oh. Watch out, people. I'm going to zoom. I'm going to slowly go down here. Yeah, so it's got sort of an asymmetrical
edge to it.
Yeah, look to it. It's a little bit short. I would make it longer just for my particular body type.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes up to 54 inches.
I would like the sleeves a little longer, so I would have to figure out how I could do that.
Yeah, with the short rows, it'd be.
But yeah.
It would be something different. So, and the next word is explore, and Joji's got this.
I like that too. That tunic.
This pullover tunic with the sort of inverted triangle look to it, and then Vera's got this
shawl
nice
that's
classic
really
shawl.
Pretty.
So Joji's tunic is explore. I'm sorry, Joji's tunic is glacier tunic.
And that's out of what, Sport or DK?
I think it's
something
a Sport.
like
that. Fingering.
Oh, okay.
Total liar. And it goes all the way up to 56 inches. And we did look at this on several different body types on Ravelry. And it does look pretty good on all the body types, although, again, you
the larger people
that are in the larger sizes, like, 46 inches just and up, seems like nobody wants to be seen on the internet. So, again, another plea, please post your pictures. I will not judge you, I promise. Or I will judge you fabulous.
And brave.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Chasing Light,
which is gorgeous.
It's Vera's. It's another sort of asymmetrical triangle, kind of. It's a different shape.
That has lace detail on one side.
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting. Yeah, that shape is so interesting.
Yeah. It's sort of a hard to describe shape. But it is really well done. The stitch pattern is very
It's a wearable
easy to
shape,
memorize.
it seems like.
Yeah. It's one that's definitely influenced in this book for sure. And then you've got Rough. Another one of these.
And someone knit this out of handspun, which I thought was really interesting. Almost like a gradient.
So you've got Rugged Coat by Joji. And this is a long cardigan coat with some cable detail and some pockets.
What is happening here?
I don't know, you picked up some string. So this one goes up to 62 inches, and it's knit out of a DK weight. So sadly, for the larger folks, it would be kind of a heavy coat, but that is kind of the point of a coat too.
Yeah,
so
I would like to see it knit out of woolen spun for sure.
But it does have some beautiful cable detail.
I can't even
down the back.
Fix it, Leslie. Sorry, we're terrible book reviewers, but I want to knit as we talk. And somehow I got string. All right, I'll keep pushing down.
Or here's some
String
scissors
everywhere. Thank you.
right there. All right.
Anyway, so I'd like to see that out of a woolen spun.
Yeah,
versus
but I do like the
worsted.
texture.
You will lose some of that texture in a woolen spun.
That's true. But I do like the texture that's in between the cables. I think that's a neat way to keep interest. And then you got Reflection, which is Vera's shawl with a little bit of a cool like ribbing garter edge to it. Right here. And again, this one's got sort of that skinny pointed triangle shape. This is knit out of a sport weight by Uncommon Thread, and it's knit in one size. So I think this one would actually be a good one for hand spun, depending on the color
construction.
Yeah. So they do have, a photo glossary, and they talk about the special colorways that were dyed for each item, and
I'm giving up on trying to fix that.
and a thank you section, and of course some lovely pictures, because they really do their photography very well. So that is Interpretations 5. This is the 5th year that they've done it, and they do talk in the book a bit about how they've matured as designers and what things they still find very important and what things they're less concerned about now.
So that retails for, what was it, 22 euros?
22 euros, which right now is about $29
But
US.
you can also purchase individual patterns as well on Ravelry. So it's just some things to think about. I would say if you like more than 4 of the patterns, then you're probably better off getting the book.
Yeah. We're big fans of Joji and Veera.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Overall, their designs are really sort of classic.
And they speak to us as knitters.
They're very modern at the same time of being classic, somehow. Okay, so books that we've been reading. Laura didn't update her, so I'm just going to talk real quick. I finished reading Carter and Lovecraft, which was sort of a horror, kind of. It was as weird as you would think with Lovecraft involved, although it has to do with his granddaughter and a bookstore. But it was okay, but in my reading is sort of my escape, and I don't like my escape to be that complicated, so I then immediately went back to listening to Kate Daniels on audiobook. I just started re-listening to the series because I was working on that Cruel piece, and so I needed something that I didn't have to think about too hard.
Yeah.
Although Obsidio came out today, so
I don't know what that is.
It's the final book in a trilogy of young adult. It is actually geared towards young adults, but it's a science fiction kind of space opera-ish, but the way it's told is really interesting. Like the story, I've talked about it a little bit before, but the narrative is told through like transcripts of a video recording, memos sent from people, instant messenger chats, the artificial intelligence's inner workings or whatever. It's really, I've never read a book like it. And Illuminae is the first. Oh my god, I can't remember the second. and then Gemini is the second, and Obsidio is the third. So I've got the book and the audiobook, but I'll start on the book tonight because I prefer to read it first. So I'm super excited about that. If you like young adult and you haven't read in science fiction, you should try it.
Okay. I read the new Patricia Briggs Alpha and Omega book, which was okay. I expect more character development. This didn't have... It had brand character development, but not main character development. So it was okay. And then I also read the new Encryptoid book by Sean McGuire, and that had tons of character development, and I liked it a lot. So it was... You've read some of those. This was the youngest sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the younger sister, and she ends up working for Disney. Like a Disney... Similar to Disney, not Disney, theme park. Yeah. That is having some accidents. So it was interesting for sure. I missed it didn't have the mice in it though. Like the rest of them all have the mice.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't have the mice, and I was missing them.
I forgot about the mice.
So they have these mice that kind of worship them.
Yeah. But in
an
like,
irreverent kind of way.
Yeah, it's done so funny. I really liked it.
So this one, she had to leave the mice. She's like, the bad guys, the people who try to kill all the Encryptoids, have gotten a sample of her blood in the last one, and they can use magic to track her, so she can't go back to the Price compound, so she sends the mice back that she did have, and so she's got to survive without any, and kind of hide from her family at the same time. Yeah. So I like that series a lot. It's one of my favorites.
I might have to go back and read that.
You should. I have all of them. So anyway, that is what I have been doing. And I've been watching Murder, She Wrote a whole bunch on DVD as I knit on this blanket. Season 5. I'm almost done with season 5. I ordered season 6 off of Amazon. And it's weird. Like, all the rest of the seasons are like $15 on DVD. No, they're not available in digital form at all. And then like season 6 is like $25, and I'm like, but I want
more murders for your dollar.
But I need more murders. Well, season 5, they must have been on strike or something because there were only 8 episodes.
Short season.
And everyone else was like 24 episodes. So I don't know what the deal was that year. It was probably 1982, so I have no idea what was happening. Anyway, it was a shorter season. And I guess season 7 was originally the last of the seasons. But then they went on for like 4 more seasons.
I think I've seen a single episode of Murder, She Wrote.
You should come over
and it was probably like
it.
25 years ago.
The last one that I watched was like Coal Miner's Slaughter. It's a pun on Coal Miner's Daughter. And there was a gorgeous Afghan in it. And the one before that, it was like snow white, blood red. Had like some gorgeous ski sweaters in it. I was all about my 80s ski sweaters. Like the very Dal of Norway type ski sweaters.
Yeah, the Loki style.
But Leslie has me watching the show on Netflix called Nailed It.
Yeah, so Netflix, like every other service, collects metrics on what you as a customer watch, and then they can recommend you shows. And so I got this email this past weekend that said, hey, we just put a new show on that you might like. It's called Nailed It, and it's a cooking show. And I'm wishy-washy on cooking shows. When they're too serious, like Top Chef, I have no interest in them. Like, they have to have a little bit of a sense of humor about it.
Like Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
Or Zuma's Desserts.
Yeah. Which I've still not finished.
I haven't finished either.
But yeah, this show is called Nailed It, and it's the first season, and there's only 6 episodes so far.
And the host is very loud.
Yeah. I like her, though. It took a little while to get into the group, but I like her. But
I want one of those money guns for
I do say. But it's kind of like if you've ever spent any time looking at Pinterest fails, it's kind of like that. So on Pinterest, which is a collection site for different things on the internet, but you'll see this picture of,
People bookmark
it's
this
super
gorgeous
easy
stuff.
to make this beautiful 3-tiered cake with all this cool, like, floral stuff and stencils and all this,
It takes less than 2 hours.
Yeah, it's totally easy. Just follow this link. So basically, they take that, of their own recipes, because they're chefs on the show, and they give them to these 3 basic home bakers. Like, they're not
good home bakers.
Yeah, no, they're like
they don't know how to butter pans.
Yeah. Like, I think some of them have probably made brownies before.
Yeah, from a mix. Maybe cupcakes from a mix.
But, so basically the point is to see how hard they fail.
And the person who fails the least wins $10,000.
And, like, the person who fails hardest in the first round gets, like, an extra bonus to mess up the other people. So, it's very light and fluffy, but funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura has a low, like, embarrassment and cringe tolerance on stuff.
And I can handle it.
And she can handle it. So. If you think you might like Pinterest fail type things, check out Nailed It on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a money gun where they shoot money at people. Which I want one.
It'd be tons of fun.
For no reason other than I want one.
Well, we could shoot, like, Monopoly money at Kobe.
I was gonna say. I wouldn't give people my real money.
No. Let's not be ridiculous now. SSK dollars.
SSK dollars, yeah.
That is real money, but that would be fun to shoot it. If, like, you won the $100 scratch off, we could shoot.
We need to get one of those, like, clear boxes that's got, like, the wind that blows in it, and then you throw in the money and whatever people can catch.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
That's how we need to spend our money.
Yeah. I could build one of those. I was thinking our insurance might go up if we do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But, oh, you have something you're going to this weekend.
I'm going to Madison to teach. I'm super excited. I'm going to be on a panel Friday night with a bunch of other people, like Patty Lyons, Lauren Nelkin, Susan B. Anderson.
With, like, real designers?
With, like, real teachers. And, see, we talk about not talking down about ourselves.
This is true.
We should practice what we preach. And so I am going there and I'm teaching 4 classes. I'm super excited. And someone asked
this
me,
is for Madison's, like, annual...
Wisconsin, they're knitting.
Okay.
And I'm going to go shopping and spend all our money. You should look at who's vending so you can see if you want me to get you anything. And my parents are coming into town to watch Pearl, so Leslie doesn't have to, although she very kindly did when I was out in Buffalo.
Pearl and me hung. And
Yeah,
then
that's-
Humberto was a jerk and was like, pet my soft belly.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and usually I'm watching for it, but at this point I was like watching TV and it had been like 10 minutes and I wasn't even looking at him, but I was still petting his belly.
Chomp.
And all of a sudden he decided I was done.
He was done with you. Get out of his house.
Yeah. But by Sunday, Pearl was like, I'm not going in that bedroom. She's going to make me go in the crate.
But that's where you slept, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Pearl. She wouldn't go in the... She's being difficult about her crate. I mean, I get her in it, but it's like a 10-minute process right now, where I block off every other place that she could possibly go. But then this afternoon, when I was coming here, she's like, oh, it's time to record. Mommy says, go in the crate. I'm in the crate, Mommy. Give me a treat.
Yeah.
Like... So
it's possible I bribed her with several treats to get her in the crate.
The other day when I was late for work, I made a line of treats to get her in the crate, and then she stole them when I was distracted putting on my shoes, and then I had to do another line of treats. They're little treats.
Yeah.
They're not like big treats, but
Still recording.
Hey, dogs!
Yeah. Okay, well, my husband just let the dogs in, so I think we're done.
Oh, we have to draw for self-striping sock.
Do we have a prize?
Yeah, we have, so the winner is going to get a set of size ID bands for interchangeable tips. These are by Jelby. This is not the ones that you're winning. You're going to work with her to do,
to pick your sizes.
Yeah, to pick your sizes, and we're just going to pay for them and the shipping. So, that is what is, yeah, so these go over the tips of your needles.
She's fine, Michael. You can leave her.
And that way you can put your tips together and they won't
take
get
one
lost.
out to show
Okay.
it.
So if I was storing my needles, I could put this around like the two tips that go together if I had like knit picks or signature and they weren't attached, and then I could put them in my bag or however I store them, and that way they're together and they're very clear and big, because I have issues like wearing off
the ones that are laser engraved.
Yes,
yeah,
wearing those off, and that way I would have these already sized and I would know what they are. And she sells them in all different sets, and she also sells needle, like if you have signatures, you could use them to keep your bands together, like your cords. So they're very, very clever. And then so for March we have a bag, and then if more than 50 people finish them, we will get other bags.
It's your Laura. It's your Laura.
So this is from Diane in the Nod bag. I thought she would have a little tag in it, but she doesn't.
I like the polka dots inside.
Yeah, it's got these black polka dots, and I'll link to her shop in the thread, the finished object thread for this month.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought that was
I like the
very
smart
fancy,
foxes.
very fancy foxes.
What's your Laura doing?
She's talking so much. She was play bowing with me when I came in. Hi, baby.
She loves her Laura.
So we have between 2 and
35.
35. Do you want to do random number generator?
Yep, I've got it up right here. So between 2 and 35, and these are for February self-striping.
Yeah.
We have a self-striping all year. You can jump in and out whenever you want.
And all the details are on our Ravelry board.
It doesn't have to be socks.
Yeah.
Very flexible.
Yes.
And every month we draw for a prize. So this is number 33.
33.
So a late
Wow.
finisher.
Towards the end.
Sorry, let me just make this bigger. Make it big.
You make it big.
33 is Gracie Lou's. And
so
she knit them out of opal.
Yeah, so last month was opal. We do say, I think we have 5 or 6 yarnies that we use per month.
And at least one of them is a commercial dye every month.
So there's her gorgeous opal socks.
Yeah,
and
so Gracie Lou S, if you will please send me an email. You don't call me Les, at Gmail.
And we'll work on getting your prize from Jelby.
Yes, we'll work on getting everything shipped to you. We'll get you in contact with Jelly so that you can work together and figure out exactly what sizes you will find most useful.
Exactly.
I heard a tail banging on metal, so it was like, what is happening? So I think that's it.
Yep. We will see you all next week after Madison. We'll probably record on Tuesday at the earliest.
I expect, because Laura will be tired.
Yeah.
Travel really wipes you out a lot more than you think it does. And then at the end of this month, we'll be at Plyaway.
We will.
We finally booked our hotel.
And Mama Linneman's coming with us, and we'll be hanging with our friends Sarah and Jess. I think Jess gets in like that Friday because she's going to Italy because she's fancy.
I have a class all day Friday, and I have nothing all day Saturday.
It's a dyeing class. Are you taking wheel even though you're not spinning?
I probably will take the little one.
Oh, your pocket wheel?
Yeah,
that'll be perfect.
So,
I think I'm going to take the Ladybug. I haven't decided yet.
It's a good travel wheel.
Mom's taking her Lindrum because it folds, I think.
Yeah.
And we're driving, so we've got all the space. Jillian Marino is posting about like the little wagons like we got for SSK, and we could grab that and pull everything in at once.
Yeah,
versus
just you have to remind me so I don't forget.
Carrying.
My house is already starting to accrue SSK crap. Let me tell you how much my husband loves that. But yeah, she is really looking for something. I don't know what.
No, no other.
Well, you guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.